Information is power.
The Information Man Show. The Information Man Show in Lion's Den.
Tell the truth. Information is power.
Information Man Show. The Information Man Show. Welcome, everybody. Welcome.
Tell the truth. Tell the truth.
Welcome to the Information Man Show. Information Man Show with my man, Lion's Den. Yes. That's right. Everybody, I welcome you here. This is Information Man, and I got my man Lions Den here with me. Thank you for being here tonight. Everybody that's coming into the chat room, I really appreciate you all being here. I want to definitely show some love to folks that's in the chat room. See who we got here. Okay, Money Speaker Word. Hey, how you doing, sister? Hello to everybody, she says. I appreciate you all coming in. We got my man, Kenny, as always, has been a great supporter of me, of the show. He says, peace and blessings to everyone in the chat. Thank you for coming through, brother. I really appreciate that. We got Haplax. Hey, what's going on? Happy Lax. I know this guy. There's a lot of channels that I'm subscribed or that I'm following within YouTube. I think it's important to expand your horizons with different people on YouTube that are doing different things in their niche. And so great channel there. Check it out. Let's go here. We got a lot of good people out here in the chat room. We say, hey, what's up? We got Evo Man, Information Man, Miss Taking listening. Okay, I appreciate multitasking and listening. I appreciate you being here and coming through. And everybody that has that's new to my channel, definitely give the support. We got Noops in the house, huh? What's up, fam? An Alpha 06 here. Noops, okay, what's going on, man? From the Divine Nine, the Noops are in the house. And so we got a lot of good folks coming around. Boss Hog, what's going on, Boss Hog? He says Jay-Z's been selling out a long time now. Well, look, what we're going to do tonight is my man in Lion's Den, Miss Johnson. How you doing, sister? Peace, she says. We're going to get into the analysis of Jay-Z, and I got some beautiful sound bites for everybody out there. Let me get this out the way. Sorry about that. Got that water bottle in the way. I'm gonna pour a little water in my cup here. Let me just say this. I've got to dedicate this show to at least two brothers on YouTube that are well known. You know them. I was listening to these brothers. It inspired me to do this tonight, and that has to be my man Tone Talks. Tone Talks broke it down. He gave a great analysis of the JC and the NFL and the Kaepernick situation. I've got to put it in for my man. You know the man. Let me give him a clap. The one and only Jason Black of the Black Channel. Yeah. Jason Black of the Black Channel has to be given credit because I had a chance to listen to him and his analysis. What's up, sister? I'm really bad with names, but that's sister right there looking good on there. She says, salute information, man. I appreciate you being here and supporting the channel, sister. Let me let you all know, too, one thing. Lions Den, I just got to keep it real. I want to say a shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson out there. I was on the Rumble. I got booted off the Rumble this weekend because I got into it with some of the guys on there because it seemed like we spend a lot of time talking about what the problems are, but we don't bring intangible solutions to the problems. And so I was mixing it up over there. And you know, O'Shea, he likes to control the panel and what have you. And I went off, and then he booted me off, and O'Shea in fashion, get out of here, info man. And but you know what? But the one thing I hold strong to is that what I was trying to push when I was on that channel was the solutions, because you had brothers talking about, well, Jay-Z's a businessman. It's a dog eat dog world out there, and he's just doing what he's got to do. And look, we know that business is a dog eat dog world. You got to go out there, you got to work hard in business, right? But what I was trying to say on the panel is that, and I made it very clear, Black people can't afford to use the strategies of our white counterparts, because Black people, we're still in a situation where we're trying to build unity amongst ourselves. We're trying to work on code. We got too many things at stake for us to start doing things that undermine each other. We're not in a position of power where we can afford to be doing things that undermine us, brother Lions Den. I'm sorry about that. We cannot afford to do that. We have to have a code in which we respect one another. We try to work with one another, even if she says shalom. Thank you, sister. Try to love one another and work with one another. We got Earl Owens in there. Thank you, brother, for being here. And of course, we've got Little Rock 2517 in the house. We gotta have different standards. We can't follow standards. And we got Genocide of Conscience was in the house at one point in time. And there he is. He's there. Conscious of Genocide is in the house. We can't afford to be doing things, Lions Den, when we're not in a position to take the hit. And then there was a question of, has Jay-Z, and I asked all the brothers on the panel, and I was trying to ask O'Shea Duke Jackson this. The question was, has Jay-Z outgrown the Black community because now he's a so-called billionaire, quote unquote, and that he's now rubbing shoulders with those that are power brokers and what we call white America? And my question was that if Jay-Z has outgrown the Black community because of his status at this time, then does he have the right to speak on issues that impact Black people if he's outgrown us, quote unquote? You see what I'm saying? So Lions Den, what are your thoughts as we push forward in tonight's live stream? And everybody out there, thank you for being here. Let me unmute you, Lions. Go ahead, brother.
And hello, everybody, and thank you, Info, for inviting me to your program, talking about this issue, because I've been wanting to talk about this for the last few days. Let me start out with this. Jay-Z he's an opportunist. Okay, he's one of the guys that when he sees money, he takes advantage of it. Gives an opportunity to go after it. So with the Jay-Z situation, with Roger Goodell and the NFL and the deal that they made together, it's kind of really fishy because last year Jay-Z told a lot of artists, including Cardi B and others, that they could not perform in the Super Bowl last year because of what's happening with the Colin Kaepernick situation. Now a year later, when he made a deal with Roger Goodell in the NFL, now all of a sudden he wants to make a deal, possibly become an owner himself, and it's been rumored. I'm not even going to speculate, but there's rumors that he said BS. But that's beside the point. The point I'm making is this: that about last year, you told artists not to perform in the Super Bowl because in support of Colin Kaepernick, and now a year later, now you want to make a deal with, let's just say, make a deal with the devil, trying to put for example, with the when he basically okay, let me start it. He was basically trying to say is that he's doing for social justice, for racial injustice and stuff like that. But how come you're gonna be owning, try to be doing a Super Bowl halftime show? This really have absolutely nothing to do with social justice. So, I think that just like what he did with David Dash and how he stole Rockefeller from him, how he used his artists and not paying them. But again, he's quote unquote a businessman, but realistically, he is a shade. So, your thoughts?
I think what you're saying is shout out to the great black shark out there. I think it's true that Jay-Z has some there's some deficits with Jay-Z in the way that he operates and he moves. And I think this brother right here who said it, he said a statement right here, the brother here after the flood, he stated that Jay-Z is our creation gone off. We elevated him and he did what? So he betrayed us in a sense. This is the thing. He is the creation of us because we did elevate him, right, to a certain point. Now remember, Jay-Z came, the brother is right. He leveraged us. I'm having a tongue twat right now, but he did use us as leverage. That brother is right. Because when Jay-Z was a young man, it was Big Daddy Kane who actually put Jay-Z on with a few others to help that young man out, and got Jay-Z to where he is now. And we got people running around saying that he's the greatest rapper of all time. And I got a problem with that personally because I'm a Generation Xer, and you can't say that because then you're forgetting about the rappers that came out of the 70s and the 80s who actually set the foundation, which Jay-Z lays on. Because back in those days, music was not, rap music didn't go commercial. And this society did not like rap music. But then Jay-Z, growing up in the generation that he grew up in, he came in at the time when now they saw that there was money to be made in rap music and that they could use our music to get rich off of. And this is the same way the NFL is. You have the NFL taking in young black men, and those young black men are getting paid a substantial amount of money, but they're breaking their minds and they're breaking their body. And we're going to get more into that tonight because I'm going to tell you, we did this program before Lions Den. The NFL, in my opinion, in my humble opinion, and I said this before, is no more than a slave is a plantation where the slaves get paid very well. And that's just my opinion about that. I know other people may have a difference of opinion in what I'm saying, but it's a high stakes game. Now we've got my man, brother Art, New Style TV is in the house. Make sure y'all all go check out his channel, give him support. Peace for being here. I'm glad that you all are coming in. Peace for being here, brother. We got Silk's BB Scratchers in the house. I see her coming in. She says, "Great Monday to everybody." She's a very positive sister. Check her out. But Lions Den, let's get into this analysis straight up, brother. Let's go ahead and do this right now. And what that analysis is that, let me just say this to everybody out there listening. Where I'm going with this is that Jay-Z in the title of this video is being used to buffer the black community. The NFL knew that they had a problem when Kaepernick decided that he was going to take a knee. He took a knee specifically because of what was happening to black men in the community, and all of you all know what I'm talking about. That's why he took the knee, and he was told by a military sergeant or someone, a guy that was in the military, that if you want to be respectful to the flag and take a knee, while at the same time being respectful, at the same time you take a knee, because they do take a knee when they present the flag to families when they lose their loved ones. So that's why Cap did that. It was in solidarity of what was happening to black men. And he says that the flag and all that it's supposed to represent, okay, the flag should represent, be representative to all people, right? And that the words that the flag stands under, black men were not being treated like this. This flag behind us is supposed to represent something that we are supposed to benefit from. And if black men are being killed in this society, shot dead with no guns in their hands, and we can't get the same justice that other groups are getting under this flag, then that's what Kaepernick was talking about and bringing truth to. But people did not want to. What's going on, Kelly K. Hills? Thank you for being here. People were not looking at what Cap was doing. They just kept saying, you're messing with our football. You're messing with our pastime. Okay, get out of here with all of that. All right. While at the same time, black men who are well paid as far as we feel they are, what they tell us in the news, and you know, a lot of these NFL contracts lines then are not guaranteed. While at the same time, Kaepernick and players like him are busting their minds and their brains, and they're being killed, and black men are being killed in the streets. How can you tell black men in the NFL that make up the majority of the NFL that they should not feel some kind of way? And that during that whole time when Kaepernick brought this issue up, he got pushed back from the owners, from the lead, from, you know, that guy. Do I need to say his name? You know that guy.
In the White House. I'm not gonna say his name.
You know that guy. I don't want to say his name. He got pushed back, called a son of a you know what. Everyone said he was unpatriotic. Everyone said, what are they doing? Nobody cared. The NFL had a PR disaster on their hands because TV viewing went down. Some black folks decided they weren't going to participate and support the NFL. And now here we got Jay-Z, who pops out of nowhere now. And all of a sudden the NFL says he's going to get ownership. They've never done this before. This is why you know what's going on, Tony Smith. This is why you know this is BS, Lions Den. They tell you that he's going to be an owner. What team is he owning? They tell you he's going to be an owner. How much of it? Is it 3% like he had with the Brooklyn Nets and he got booted out of there? How much? Because if you're either an owner of a team, you're either a partial owner, what are you? So I think when the NFL put that out as press to create buzz and to create and to change this narrative that the NFL is now a cool lead, because the NFL now, I'll express 3. What's going on, brother? The NFL now is saying, let's get the coolest Negro that we can find. Oh, that's Jay-Z, because he's got street cred, right? That we can now make black people think that the NFL is cool now because they got Jay-Z, and Jay-Z's going to come in and save the day for us, right? And what happens is Jay-Z is being used as a buffer, and he's moving us away from true activism, and he's lulling us to sleep with, what's this deal that he's got, Lions Den? What's the deal, Lions, that Jay-Z is getting with the NFL, brother? What's the deal?
The deal was that he is going to be a part of the Super Bowl halftime. He's going to do with music, etc. And there's other projects that he was going to be involved in with the NFL. I saw the interview info that Charlemagne the God interviewed him, and he basically asked him, why did you even agree to a deal with the NFL, even though that what they did with Colin Kaepernick and
Information
not bringing him
is
back
power.
in the league. So Jay-Z, and this is what disturbs me about this. He responded. He said, "Why don't you move past kneeling?" Now, when I heard that, I said, "Wow." I mean, he basically forgot that it was Colin Kaepernick. He was the first person that took a knee, and you got players like Kenny Stills of the Miami Dolphins, and you got Eric. What's his brother's name? He was the one kneeling with Colin Kaepernick, but he's now with the Carolina Panthers. Eric Reed. So basically, they still kneeling to this day, But my point is that when Jay-Z said, "Why don't we move past kneeling?" In fact, why don't we move forward from kneeling? It just disturbs me of what he was saying, because it's like you just basically forget about why Colin Kaepernick kneeled in the first place. You just basically just trying to go for the deal that the NFL has offered him, billions of dollars, by the way. And yet you basically forgot why Colin Kaepernick kneeled. So it really disturbs me of what he was saying in that interview from Charlemagne the God.
All right. Let me give a shout out to Wiz World Media. Peace. He says peace and love. Light. Hey, peace, brother. I'm glad to have you here. Check out the channel if you are not already a follower of this channel. And I'll definitely will be checking you out. Everybody in the chat room, I'm going to be checking out all of your channels. If you do create content and I'm not following you, I can look at the replay of this video and go into the chat room and click on people's avatars and follow their platforms. Let me go ahead and do this, Lions Den, because there's so much for us to cover this evening. Let me play a sound bite, and I've got some sound bites that's going to put perspective, but the sound bite that's going to put perspective on everything is when I get to Tone Talks. But let me go ahead and play this first sound bite for everybody to hear to start off, and I hope everybody can hear this sound bite.
People have is they want to know how you could partner with a league on social justice when Colin Kaepernick, who brought it to the attention of the masses by peacefully protesting against social justice, is still out of a job.
Yeah, that's a great question. There's two parts of protesting. You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, "I hear you. What do we do next?" Like everyone heard, and we hear what you're saying, and everybody know I agree with what you're saying. So what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So we reach millions and millions of people, or we get stuck on Colin not having a job. So, okay, I think we passed kneeling. Yeah, I think it's time to go into actionable items. I know because it's a real thing, but it's a form of protesting. I support protests across the board. We need to bring light to the issue. I think everyone knows what the issue is. We're done with that.
Wow, should have been nodding his hair like that. Disgusting. Anyway, look, Jay-Z is right in terms of solving the problem is more important than anything else. But I think that something is missing here. And the part that's missing here is that this is another instance of a black man standing up for his
Okay, Lions Den, there was a little bit of problem with the audio. I don't know why, but you all get I'm going to play the Jason Black pretty soon. That might come out a lot more clear than that one. but everybody gets the pretty much can get the point that Jay-Z, we all heard the audio. Jay-Z basically said that, where do we go from there? We all know what Colin Kaepernick was standing for. He says social justice, but that's not true. Colin Kaepernick was doing it for what was happening to black men. It was more of a racial issues that he was taking his stance for, not the social justice. And the reason why that's very important is because when you say social justice, that's when you are including other groups of people across the board, which Colin Kaepernick was not taking. I'm sorry about that if you could not hear that audio, but I'm kind of just breaking it down right here. What's going on, Marcus Love? Good to have you here, brother. But you are including other people in the argument when Colin Kaepernick was doing it for one specific reason, and he clearly stated that it was about what was happening to black men. It wasn't social justice for what's happening to other groups. It was specifically to what was happening to black men at that time, with all these shootings by police when it came to black men in this country. What's going on, Deep Thought? I see you. So that's where he was going. And then he says, well, after you stop protesting, then they hear you, and then what? But if you notice, Jay-Z never said what he was prepared to do. We know that Rock Nation, as you said, Lionsden, got this great deal where they're going to be hosting and picking talent for the Super Bowl and putting it together. That's great for Rock Nation. It's great publicity for Rock Nation. But dancing and singing is not what Colin Kaepernick was taking his stance for. And don't get me wrong, everybody out there, I do have some issues with Kaepernick as it relates to his deal with Nike, because I thought that his deal with taking money from Nike made it also possible for Jay-Z to slide in right behind him and cut his deal with the NFL, which initially made it look like he was backstabbing Kaepernick. And then the question I'm going to bring up to everybody in the chat room and you, Lionsden, what puzzles me is why didn't Jay-Z told his people not to perform there, right? He said that he was behind Kaepernick 100%. But what puzzles me is that why didn't Jay-Z, if he's this billionaire and he's got all this street cred, and he's got all this power that we've been lulled to sleep to believe that he has, why didn't Jay-Z say, I got to bring Kaepernick in on this deal? Kaepernick's got to be a part of the social justice piece, right? So if you really hear what Kaepernick was about, why didn't Jay-Z bring Kaepernick in on this with him? Even when the players in the NFL that cut that terrible deal where they got $88 million or $80 million from the NFL, and they went and met with the members of the coaches, with the owners, and even in that meeting, they didn't even say, let's go get Cap and make Cap a part of this, because the bottom line, Lions and everyone listening, the NFL wanted nothing to do with Kaepernick, which is why they did collusion against that brother to keep him out of the lead. What's up, the Prophet of Thought series? Good to see you, brother. It's been a while. Everybody in the chat room, check this man's channel out. You won't be sorry. The Prophet of Thought series. He goes live on Wednesday nights and Thursday nights. So check him out. Why couldn't he have brought Kaepernick along with him to fix these problems that Cap was taking his stance about? And like I said again, I've got some set of issues with Cap because he took money from Nike, and then we haven't heard from Cap very much. His girlfriend or fiance or whatever she is, she seems to be doing all the talking for him. And I know people out there saying, well, why don't the man talk? Well, I believe that it's he's damned if he do, he's damned if he don't. If Kaepernick starts talking, people gonna say, see, he needs to shut up his mouth because he's unpatriotic. If Kaepernick lets other people talk for him, then everybody says, well, why don't he talk? So no matter what Cap does, if he opens his mouth or not, people are not gonna like what he has to say either way, especially if you think what he did was disrespectful to the country, to the flag, and to the game of football. I'm just putting that out there. Lionsden, you have any thoughts, brother?
Yeah, info. And the thing with the situation is this, and I think that what is happening is that, you know, it's been told that the Jay-Z and Roger Goodell of the NFL he was planning to make a deal with the NFL for years, and a lot of people don't know that. My question is that if you supported Colin Kaepernick, why did Jay-Z didn't tell Colin Kaepernick the deal with the NFL behind the scenes? It's been, and then Jay-Z was, I think Charlemagne did ask that question to him, and Jay-Z did say, well, I did talk with, Colin Kaepernick about the deal. And then it's been tweets from this girlfriend, Nessa. Which is his girlfriend, by the way, and she's also a DJ on Hot 970 New York. She was on Twitter, said that's not true. Jay-Z didn't even talk to Colin Kaepernick about the deal with the NFL. And so Eric Reed co-signed, Nessa, the same thing, say Colin Kaepernick never heard from Jay-Z about this deal. So the reality is that Jay-Z's been lying to, everybody all along. And he said, I'm going to support the protest. I'm supporting Colin Kaepernick in protest. But in reality, he did dirt behind the scenes with the NFL and not let Colin know what's going on. So info, it's just like you said, damn if you do and damn if you don't. Because again, if Colin Kaepernick does talk, once that settlement is done with the NFL, it's a non-disclosure agreement. So we don't even know what the NFL probably tell Colin Kaepernick. If you said anything about this deal that we did as a settlement, then guess what? We'll sue him for that because you violated our agreement behind the scenes. So, that's probably the reason why Colin didn't say anything. That's probably the reason why Nessa do most of the talking, because he don't want to get in trouble. He don't want to get in trouble with the settlement with the NFL. So, info, your thoughts.
If everybody can hear me, let me just say this. Let me read this by Vix. Also, he should have brought Jermaine Dupri. He was the first to do what Jay-Z is doing now with the NFL. Jay-Z called JD and told him not to do the Super Bowl. Yeah, that's right. And see, to me, there's some hypocrisy on Jay-Z's part. Now, I know people are going to say, well, you setting up here info and you're throwing the man under the bus. I'm just bringing out some things for people, some food for thought. Okay. The NFL has been notorious for having some practices that I think that are very racial. For example, there was a time in the NFL that they really believed that black men could not play quarterback because to be a quarterback means you have to have intelligence, and that we could only play the positions where athleticness need to be. Okay. And then I grew up watching that whole process where they start bringing in the black quarterback. Then you have the Rooney Rule when it comes to, if I'm not mistaken, hiring black coaches. And you've got NFL teams over the last few years that have circumvented that rule by interviewing black potential coaches as a way to meet the quota when they knew they were going to hire a white coach. So the NFL, when you look at the number of black coaches that have been walked past and you see the recycling of the same coaches, same guys, and you don't see fresh black faces as head coaches. Now you've got a few that have been hired as coaches in the NFL that are in the NFL right now, but in my opinion, there's not enough. You've got a league that's got about 1,700 players somewhere in there, made up of mostly African-American men. And we're going to get into that, into how the NFL is breaking black minds up and bodies. And we keep sending our kids to be a part of this crap. And we got to stop that. I got a solution to that. We got Carl's opinion in the house. He gave a super chat of $20 and appreciate the super chat, Carl.
Thank you for the super chat.
Thank you for the super chat. Cool, Carter's opinion. And then we got Carter's Eats. Check out Carter's Eats. Thank you for being here, Carter's Eats. So let's get back on track here. We've got a lead that has made its money. Oh, what's going on, sister? What's going on there? She says the quarterback makes the big money. That's right. The quarterbacks make the big money. So we got an NFL lead that has spent a lot of time making money off of black males, their bodies and their minds. Okay. And we send our kids to school, to these universities, to play football, to hope they get this scholarship and all of that in some cases. And we have a lead that when black men in that league wanted to take a stance, they were treated poorly. They were talked about like a dog by people in the media and outside of the media because people just want to see their football. And Cap became a victim to a certain degree of American reality, which is people don't really want to deal with real issues. So all of a sudden, the NFL, as I said before, is saying Jay-Z's got the answers to all of our problems. That you notice Lions Den, they didn't go to real activists. They didn't go talk to people who have expertise in dealing with social issues. They ran to an entertainer to lull us to sleep, to dance us to sleep, to sing us to sleep, to entertain. So Jay-Z gets a good deal out of this whole thing at the end of the day. And my question is, what we got here is called social. I'm going to say it again. It's called social capitalism. They're trying to use social capitalism of Jay-Z and tell me and you that because Jay-Z's got a money and he's got some type of reputation that we're supposed to now adhere and get back to the status quo of supporting the NFL, and y'all Negroes just stop kneeling and stop protesting this and that, as if nothing that's outside of football does not affect football players who have family members who can be attacked. You see, let me go ahead and play a sound bite, and I hope everybody could hear this sound bite because this is going to definitely lay into some of the things I'm talking about. When Jay-Z was asked that question about what Kaepernick was, what he did, what he stood for, and he goes into the whole thing about, well, the protest, the kneeling is down. I think we're past kneeling. And if you saw the video, Roger Goodell, I'm gonna play this for y'all, and I'm gonna let y'all see something. Jay-Z smiling with his teeth out. And there's a word that we use for that. Now, look at this right here. Jay-Z smiling, buck dancing in the chair with Roger Goodell, right?
Mm-hmm.
Smiling. And Roger Goodell, I'm saying his name wrong, but I don't care, is smiling there too. When Jay-Z said, I think we're past kneeling, Roger Goodell starts shaking his head and smiling like it's funny. That's not funny because the kneeling was about the protest of black men dying, and you're laughing at that? That's funny to you? That ain't nothing to laugh at. And let's listen to how Jason Black breaks this down. And I hope y'all can hear this audio. Everybody in the chat room, if you can hear what's going on, brother Adubian? If you can hear the audio when I get ready to play it, say yes or put a 1 in the chat room, because if you can't hear it, I'm going to have to fix it so I can play it back for you. It's only a 2-minute and 24-second audio. And here we go.
People have is they want to know how you could partner with a league on social justice when Colin Kaepernick, who brought it to the attention of the masses by peacefully protesting against social justice, is still out of the job.
You know, that's a great question. There's two parts of protesting. You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, I hear you. What do we do next? Like everyone heard, and we hear what you're saying.
Oops. Folks, that's the wrong audio. Let me hit the right one. Here we go, Jason Black. And I want to say again, shout out to Jason Black of the Black Channel.
He has emotionally and psychologically divorced himself from black people. Now, by the way, I want to play his response to Charlemagne one more time. And I want you to tell me if you do or don't hear anything suspicious in there.
It's a lot of job. Yeah, that's a great question. I think that I think we take it back. I think that we forget that Colin's whole thing was to bring attention to social injustice, correct? So in that case, right, this is a success, right? This is the next thing, right? Because there's two parts of protesting. You go outside and you protest, and then the company or the individual say, I hear you. What do we do next? Right? So for me, it was like actionable item. What are we gonna do with it? Like everyone heard, and we hear what you're saying, and everybody know I agree with what you're saying. So what are we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? So we should millions and millions of people, or we get stuck on Colin not having a job. You know what I'm saying?
Now, did you hear what he did not say in that rambling, bumbling, meandering morass of a response? Did you hear what he didn't say? Brothers and sisters, did he say the word black anywhere? For those of you who still want to sit up here and cape for him, did he say the word black anywhere? He said Colin was about standing up for social justice. Colin was talking about racial justice. He didn't say black. He didn't even say racial. Did you get that?
I hope that you all got that. That was the point that I was trying to drive home. As you can see, Jay-Z smiling with the buck dancing teeth sticking out. Roger Goodell laughing to himself, saying, I got you where I want you. I'm going to get these black folks back to supporting the NFL, and we're going to dance them to sleep because Jay-Z going to put on a hip production for us. Dance for us, dance, bucket good, and all that kind of stuff, right? And so that's what Jay-Z's been brought in for, to buffer us, to put on a good show for the halftime. Like that's got something to do with social action. And like Jason Black said, he never mentioned anything about us per se. That's a problem. To me, I don't know how you feel about it, but it's a problem. Lions Den, as to hear that, what are your thoughts as you hear how Jason Black breaks it down as always?
I agree. Jason Black from the Black Authority hit it right in the head, hit right in the nail when he said those words. He never say black. He never say racial injustice and none of that. I want to get back to the person that was saying about Jermaine Dupri. And it's not just the Jermaine Dupri that, Jay-Z told not to perform in the Super Bowl. You got Travis Scott. You got Cardi B. You got all the other artists as well. Basically, Jay-Z said, no, let's not perform because it's supporting Colin Kaepernick. And they didn't. And they listened to exactly what Jay-Z was saying, that they're not performing. And then all of a sudden, you look back at it, and then it's really funny that you look back at it, and it's really because they would made a deal behind the scenes. I'm talking about Jay-Z and the NFL made this deal and not let Colin Kaepernick know about it, and then tell us he supported Colin Kaepernick, but you made a deal with the NFL behind the scenes. And what's making it even difficult is that you lied to the public. I'm talking about Jay-Z lied to the public, said he was spoken with Colin Kaepernick about this deal, and then you got his girlfriend Nessa and then Eric Reed both co-signed and said no, he haven't spoken with Jay-Z. So it's basically Jason Black hit it right on the nail. He said he never said the word black. He never said the word racial injustice or police brutality and why that Colin Kaepernick kneeled in the first place.
Tell the truth.
So info is basically showing that Jay-Z is being Jay-Z as usual. He's doing what he's believed that he want to help the NFL. He's really want to save the NFL, bringing black fans in watching the game again, but because of the boycott that NFL been losing so much money on because of the boycott, obviously on both sides. So and so by bringing Jay-Z in, it's gonna probably want to bring black fans back to watch the game again. And so Jay-Z is just bringing billions and trying to want to be an owner. And like I said, been rumored that he's trying to own the New York Jets now by Woody Johnson. And remember, Woody Johnson Woody Johnson, who owns the New York Jets, or used to own the New York Jets, I guess his son owns it now. He is the ambassador of England. From Donald Trump hired him as an ambassador to England. So I guess now they need someone. I guess his son probably feel less interested in owning the New York Jets, and probably that's why Jay-Z wanted it so bad. But my point is, and I know we're going off topic off that, is that Jay-Z is being Jay-Z. He doesn't care about Colin Kaepernick. He doesn't care about the black fans that supported him in raising awareness for racial injustice. It's proven that that's what he does. He's the businessman. That's what Jay-Z is. But it's a shady businessman. It's a difference. So, Info, your thoughts.
Well, let me just say this, brother. Jay-Z, if you look at his career, he's really in it for himself. Like you said, businessman, he's in it for himself. I get that. And that's part of the problem that I've been trying to say, brother, is that black people, we can't afford to adopt what we call individualism, where you only think about the individual. We have to think about the collective, because right now we're still, even though you've got 2.5 million black men that have moved up into the upper middle class, and even though we have black people some that are doing well financially and some that are not, we're still as a whole, as a people, not as a complete whole. We're not doing well as a complete whole across the board, where we can afford to take on tactics where we, the old saying, we do things like crab in a basket, pull each other down, right? So that's the reason why I feel like what would have been more powerful is if he could have pulled Kaepernick in with this deal, okay? And I'm pretty sure some folks would still have criticism about that, but the fact that he didn't even pull the man in, and now the rumor is that he might have not told the truth, allegedly, because I haven't seen those reports, Lions Den. Allegedly, he might have lied about saying that he had talked to Cap prior to meeting with the NFL. And let me just say something like this. I don't play this. I'm going to play a soundbite by my man, Rob Parker, who does sports talk. And he talks about, are black people for sale? Because I don't care if a black man owns a sports franchise, that doesn't change the things that we need to still be working on as a people. For example, ownership is not new to black people. How many of you remember the Denver Nuggets? I'm going back in the day now. The Denver Nuggets were actually purchased and owned by black men. At one point in time, the Denver Nuggets were owned by a group of black men, or a particular one black man. Or you remember that, Lions Den?
Yeah, I heard something about that. Yeah, back in the day.
That's the truth. That there was, and then they sold off the team, and then we got Bob Johnson, who was in charge of, he owned BET before he sold it to Viacom Cable. We know the story behind that. He owned the Charlotte Bobcats for a while, right?
Yeah.
Now we know that, and in the NBA, you've got Michael Jordan, who's an owner now, right, brother?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He owner of the Charlotte Hornets now, if I'm not mistaken.
Stepping away just for a moment, say a few things on that issue.
Okay, yeah. One thing too that remember rapper Diddy, Sean P. Diddy Combs, was wanting to be interested as an NFL owner. Unfortunately, the NFL don't want Diddy for some reason. And now all of a sudden, Jay-Z come along, and I guess they like Jay-Z so much, He's a golden boy to them. So obviously, you know, they that's why he made a deal with the NFL. So the point I'm making, ladies and gentlemen, is this: is that when you basically make a deal with the NFL, of course, you said make a deal with the devil. Um, and then you try to tell the world, well, you know, Colin Kaepernick knows about the deal, and then basically turns out that that wasn't the case because his girlfriend on Twitter, Nessa, along with Eric Reed, also says that that's not true because he never spoken to Jay-Z with respect to the deal. Basically, what we're seeing is now that Jay-Z's being Jay-Z. Okay. And then obviously what we're also seeing that Jay-Z, this isn't the first time that Jay-Z doing some deals like this and how shady it was. Remember, let's go back to when he was with Rockefeller and how Jay-Z stole Rockefeller from Damon Dash. And Damon Dash didn't he never getting over it since. And then when you did, and then remember when Jay-Z first came out, he's with remember the rapper named Big Jazz back in the days. He was hanging out with Big Jazz and stuff like that. And then he made it big on his own. And then all of a sudden, he basically screw all his artists is like A-Mail, Benny Siegel, and others. And then you dealing with him and Nas. My point, and I know I'm going off script on this one, but the point is that the track record of Jay-Z's business deals is not good. It's shady.
Right, right.
So
Let me
go ahead, Paul.
let me go ahead and thanks a lot. Let me just say this. This is very important, and I'm going to play this. I got a soundbite about how when they tell you that Jay-Z's a billionaire, that he's made his money, he's a rags and a rich story, you know, and Jay-Z himself said that he shot his brother. He's, you know, you heard that 444 album, which I'm telling you right now, a lot of people, that album to me there was nothing brilliant about his album because the things that he was talking about in that album, he should have done that 24 years ago. None of that stuff about OJ. We already know about OJ. My God, who don't know what type of person OJ was? So I didn't need to hear a song about OJ. We already knew what OJ was about. All that stuff that he was confessing in that album, that they thought it was a masterpiece. Man, I've heard better rap music than that, to be quite honest. Okay, let me just say this. Jay-Z, like I said, he's being used for social capital. And the NFL is a business. It's capitalism personified, okay? The owners of that team, lots of them, as Woody Johnson, they are big supporters of Donald Trump. I should have never said that man's name, but you know the guy who goes around saying things like this.
We will make America great again.
Okay. You know that guy in the White House?
In the White House. I'm not going to say his name.
And so, you know, that guy in the White House. So let me just say this. This is important. He invested in ankle bracelets that monitor the parolees. He is a snake to his own people, just like Oprah. So Jay-Z made a lot of money off of selling us cheap liquor, cheap wine, right? Mm-hmm. He made a lot of money off of promoting this whole thing with the ankle. He's invested in ankle, and then he, along with Obama, were pushing the whole Uber thing, like, oh, you're going to be your own business person, and all you're doing. Wait till I play this soundbite from my man Tone Talks. I love Tone Talks, but so there's so many. So when they're telling me and you, Lions, and everybody out there listening, that he represents the Black people and he's a billionaire, and we put him on a pedestal along with Beyonce, I've always said that what is happening to our society today, where rappers are becoming our de facto activists. So we maximize the minimum and we minimize the maximum. People who are really social activists who have a track record in helping us, they're minimized. And the people who make us shake our booties and dance and grind and twerk our little butts around, we now saying that they the social activists of today. I'm gonna say this. There's a quote by Dr. Martin Luther King, and a lot of people don't know this quote. And he said that in America, the two most dangerous things in America is sincere ignorance and conscientious stupidity. The question is Jay-Z being conscientiously stupid or is he being sincerely ignorant in the way he's conducting himself in this situation? Because at the end of the day, he's going to make money. Kaepernick made his money with Nike. And I didn't like the way he did that, but you know how people are. They're going to always go for the money. At the end of the day, it still did not change the fact that there are things happening to black people in this country as it relates to what Kaepernick was taking his knee for in the first place. Those are the thoughts out there, folks. I'm going to play a sound bite from my man, Rob Parker. I'm going to go into some more sound bites, and I hope you can hear these sound bites. Let me know if you can hear them. Here's the first one.
You said made a lot of headlines this week after he agreed to a joint partnership with the NFL.
You mean got in bed with the NFL?
Exactly. Well, now we may have a better understanding as to why it kind of got pushed through the way it did. It's being reported by TMZ that Jay-Z in the near future is set to become a significant ownership share in an NFL franchise.
What? What do you mean? What? So it wasn't enough for the check that he got for his company. Now they cut him into to be a part owner. Is that what it is?
That is correct. Now we don't know exactly which team yet, and we don't know if he'll be a minority or a majority owner, but they will say it's a quote significant interest.
Can't believe it's going to be a majority. Because who's giving up their team? Nobody's giving up their team unless you have to cut their arm off, right? What do you make of this? I want to hear your take because normally I would be thrilled. I would say, okay, there's some progress.
Yes.
But it looks like it's off the back of Colin Kaepernick.
Okay.
And it doesn't feel good. It just doesn't. The way that the owners handled this, the way that they could have easily dealt with it, they're willing to tackle social issues in the past, okay? Because they make all the players wear pink for breast cancer awareness. If it's only about football, why are we doing that? This is what they say. We're only interested in football here, right?
Right.
I'm not, I get it, a good cause, but I'm just saying, what are we doing? Also, when they took the Super Bowl away from Arizona, the people of Arizona voted not to have the Martin Luther King holiday. The NFL showed up and they said, if you don't have the Martin Luther King holiday, you'll never get a Super Bowl. That's what they were told. And guess what happened?
Next day.
They all voted. They went back to the polls and they voted. And guess what? They ratified the Martin Luther King holiday. So don't tell me it's not social. It's social when you want it to be social. And it's not when you don't want it.
Now, Lions Den, as you heard that, Rob Parker said that it's social when you want it to be. The NFL didn't make any type of move when all this was going on. When all the issues were happening, they didn't make a move. They just was like, let's play football as usual, right? Now, after they've taken a hit a few seasons, now all of a sudden, it's all good. Now, all of a sudden, they're concerned about social justice. All of a sudden, they're hiring a man to improve their entertainment package. All of a sudden, now they're hiring a man to fix the problems because he knows his people. See, this is the history historically, folks. This is the history historically. Historically, we know that they've always used someone like us to break us down, right? So the enemy comes from within, not from without. So as long as we buy into the notions that Jay-Z's just being a shrewd businessman, see, that's what they want us to focus on. The minimum, maximize the minimum, minimize the maximum. The maximum being the real issues that this whole thing with the NFL was about, with Kaepernick taking his kneel, right? Get us away from that. That's why you got Jay-Z on there talking about, I think we're past the protest. Now what? Well, he didn't tell us in that press conference. I'm going to say this again. He never said in the press conference what he was prepared to do. He never gave a blueprint. Okay. He came out with an album called The Blueprint, right? Jay-Z didn't have a blueprint. You know why he didn't have a blueprint? Because Jay-Z is not a social activist, but he's being asked to play one like he sleeps at a Holiday Inn. Okay. Now we got my man After Flood saying Jay-Z doesn't have enough to buy in on money for major ownership. That's right. And I don't think he can assemble joint venture groups to purchase majority ownership. No, look, look, before you even get to that, After the Flood, tell me what team in the NFL, this is where we've been bamboozled and hoodwinked and run amok. What NFL team right now is giving up a good majority of their shares of a football team? I'm waiting for anybody in the chat room to tell me, because I'm going to hear because if you can tell me, I'm going to wait until the crows pass. Can anybody in the chat room tell me? Them crows was coming by again. Them crows. You gotta watch out for them crows. Folks, look. Ain't none of these owners in the NFL giving up a football team. These football teams are worth big time money. And as my man Tone Tuck says, he's not only got to buy the team, but he also got to buy the stadium. Because see, the team is sold separate from the stadium. Can he afford both? Can he get both in the package deal? That's the question. And so I'm telling you, folks out there that's buying into this, you're being bamboozled. Then, if anything, he's going to have a small part. And see, by putting out this whole thing about Jay-Z having ownership, that's a way they want to lure us to sleep, make us say, "Oh wow, okay, we passed that. Whoosh, everything's back to normal again. Let's get those ratings back up. Let's get behinds in the seats." That's what this is really all about. This is about football. Let me go into another soundbite, and then I'm gonna go back to Lions Den by my man Rob Parker, the second part, and here it goes.
When Jay-Z came into the partnership with the NFL. Just listen to this and tell me what you think of it. That's their go-to with us. And this sends a message that no matter how much we have or how much we accomplish, all you have to do is throw money at black people and they will quiet down. If Jay-Z allows himself to be bought off, then that means you can buy any of them off. You know, those words and thoughts have permeated throughout the NFL owners.
What do y'all think about that statement?
Tell the truth.
You have a point. Thank you, After Flood. And then let me say here, I'll express thank you for being here. I really I support your channel. This is why folks need to go over and check this man out. He gives great information on the metadata and how YouTube algorithms work, how you can best make YouTube work for you. So he gives very good information. And I also got some explosive information. I have documents, folks, that I've downloaded. That is something that YouTube didn't want people to know. I know some of the buzzwords that YouTube will really, what they call shadow ban your channel. If you say certain words, there's this thing called shadow banning. And I have a document. Shout out to Post Studios, Prusa Studios out there. Shout out to Prusa Studios out there, because I was in their chat room tonight, got these documents downloaded. There's a whole bunch of things that you can't say. So many different things that the AI on YouTube will work against you. And I've got got the documents. Explosive. I'm gonna do a show on it and let everybody know what they need to know to protect their channels. Okay. And he says that Prince, I know you are I know you're a big Prince fan. He says Prince actually liked Beyonce. He thought she was a great musician, but not a performer, but a great musician. That kind of makes me laugh, man. Okay, let's move on to some other quotes here. So let me, Lions, let me get forward here. What are your thoughts? What you heard by Rob Parker there?
I agree with Rob Parker info. And you know what's so funny though, when they were saying that, you know, they want to make Jay-Z an owner. And I agree with you that it's much more than being an owner, right? Not only you have to buy a team, like I said, you gotta buy parts of the stadium, you gotta buy like stadium licenses. It's much more than that. And I doubt that Woody Johnson will give Jay-Z the car keys, in other words. And I agree with what you were saying about Woody Johnson. He's like I said, he's not only a Trump supporter, but Trump made him an ambassador to Britain. So this is huge when it comes to Woody Johnson. But with that being said, right, the thing of it is that Jay-Z, you know, people try to make him like he's a billionaire. And realistically, you know, I mean, even if you are a billionaire status, how can you even afford getting a team? How could you afford getting unless you getting unless the NFL giving him a franchise we don't know about?
Right,
But
brother.
even if that were true, how can he go even afford doing that? I mean, if you making a billionaire status, because it costs much more than being a billionaire. I'm telling you, it's gonna be building a stadium itself is like pretty much like $50 to $100 billion, depending on what stadium you're gonna build it to, what city you're gonna build it to. So this is much more than just being an owner of a franchise, or owner of a team, and so we don't even know why Jay-Z is doing this. And again, we all agree that Jay-Z is being Jay-Z. He's not even care about Colin Kaepernick like that, let alone he don't care about anybody that's trying to. And again, celebrities listen to Jay-Z last year. And remember, a lot of people need to remember that, you know, not to perform the Super Bowl last year because of support of Colin Kaepernick. You got Travis Scott, you got Cardi B, you got it's some other brother. I think about him later, but my point is that Jay-Z told these guys not to perform in the Super Bowl in support of Colin Kaepernick, and they guess what? They listened to him. They said that we're not going to do it because, you know, Jay-Z said it's not good to do it in support of you know, the Colin Kaepernick and how the NFL treating them. So now you look forward to it, and now you go on a press conference saying, let's move forward, and let's move past kneeling. No, we're not going to do that, because basically Colin Kaepernick was the original person doing the kneeling. And how are we going to move past that? And yet you like kissing this, and like you like a smiling buck dancing with Roger Goodell in the NFL, the enemy that is the reason why Colin is not in the league right now.
Well, let me say this. You said a lot of things, Lions Den, but let me just say this. I want to once again, I'm gonna get right on point here. Let me say this. The bottom line is the NFL. Now they're not going to come out and admit this, but there was collusion to get Kaepernick out of the lead. Now, for those of you out there that are listening, I know that there's people probably in the chat room who don't care about Kaepernick. They might disagree with what he did, or they may agree with what he did. My point is that they did collude against him. Miss Mohawk, let me just say this. I read your earlier thing that you put in the chat about this being all a distraction. Yes, Jay-Z and what's going on with the NFL right now, it is all a big fat distraction, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. Okay, but let me continue here, Lions, because this is important. I think that what's at stake here is that, like, once again, what Colin Kaepernick was doing got lost in the sauce. Once again, he took the money from Nike and then he complained about the Bessie Ross flag, which personally, I think, is no different than the American flag, in my opinion, in terms of what it means.
Tell the truth. Information is power.
What it represents and what have you. Okay. Now, some people look at the flag and it represents mom and apple pie, wonderful things and all of that. For some of us as Black people, it represents something more cruel. Okay. The Star Spangled Banner, the national anthem song that he took a knee against was written by Francis Scott Keys, right? If I'm correct, Lions Den, am I correct about that?
Yes, correct. Sir. Yes, sir. You are correct.
And the song has a third stanza. This is why, in my humble opinion, African Americans, Black people, Moors, or Aborigine, whatever you want to define yourself as, this is the reason why we should not put our hands over our heart for that song, because the song was written by someone who was a racist, someone that was for slavery. He was not against it. He had slaves himself. And in the stanza of the song, the third stanza, there's a stanza that you never hear. They don't sing in the national anthem. It's not sung that way. But in that anthem, as part of that song, he talks about killing Black people, the slaves dying and killing them. Okay? So how can I, knowing the history of this country in terms of Black people that were in shackle slavery, how can I honor that song in full faith when I know that that song was written by an individual who harbored certain racial and slave ideologies towards my people, had slaves himself, and wrote a song where he was inspired about killing Black people in the song? And that's the part that none of you hear when they have the national anthem. Another thing I'm going to say to you, everyone got on Cap for taking a knee, saying that it was disrespectful to the flag. Guess what? Do you know the NFL is disrespectful to the flag? When they pull out that big giant flag across the field, the flag is not supposed to be spread out across the field. The proper etiquette for a flag is it's supposed to be hung high in the sky. So you're not even supposed to be wearing the flag on a lapel pin. You're not supposed to be putting it on shirts, baseball caps. That is not the proper etiquette of the flag. That is disrespecting the flag. You don't put the flag lay the flag flat on the ground across a football field. That's a disrespect to the flag. So if you really want to be honest about respect for patrioticness in the flag, go read proper flag etiquette. Most of the people that were mad at Cap are hypocrites themselves, because the way they wear the flag and handle the flag themselves, wearing it on caps, wearing it on t-shirts, wearing it on lapel pins, okay? That's not the way you honor the flag. That's a negative towards the flag. See, how many people researched that who were jumping all over Cap about how he handled the flag and not wanting to kneel, right? How many people, right? And check this out. The flag that's right behind us, folks, right now, most of the flags in this country that you purchase from the store, Lions Den, help me out with this. The flags, where they manufactured at?
They manufacture
in China. Yeah. In China, brother, in China. Most of the flags and our clothing are manufactured in China. So how the hell you gonna call it an American flag if it's not even made in America? Does that make any type of sense? I mean, it's crazy.
Tell the truth.
I mean, it's crazy. Lions Den, I'm gonna go into a soundbite, brother. I'm gonna go into a soundbite, and this is another soundbite by Rob Parker. Let me see the folks that are in the chat room, all 7 of them that I see in there, and let me see what people are writing. He says, surely I can buy a KFC franchise, but that doesn't mean I know how to run it. That's right. Good point. Oh, we got Filthy Franks in the house. Filthy Franks in the house. What's going on, brother? He's talking to Miss Mohawk. I appreciate it. Brother Aduvian was here tonight. Oh, here we finally got my man, Brother Aduvian, on the big screen, and he's talking to Gigi. Shout out to Gigi in there. Let's see who else we got in there. A slave made the flag, and the slave master wife took the credit. Oh, Betsy Ross, that's true. I've heard that story before, that the flag was actually designed by a black woman that was, of course, a slave, and that Betsy Ross really took the credit for something. And you know what? They don't tell us about that, folks. This is the information, man. You're going to get that information here because we got intelligent folks in the chat room. And not to mention the fact that the White House was built by slaves, and most of the layout of Washington, D.C. was built and was designed by Benjamin Banneker, who is responsible for creating the clock design. Benjamin Banneker is responsible for the layout. That's why when you look at Washington, D.C., the way it's laid out, they got all that Egyptian symbolism in Washington, D.C. Where do you think they got that from? That's African, because Egypt is in Africa. Don't forget that. Now, when you go to England, you're going to learn something on the Information Man show, okay?
Information is power.
When you go to England, they got the clock in England. They call it the Big Ben. You know why? Benjamin Banneker is responsible for that Big Ben in England. How many of y'all even knew that history? See, when you come over to the Information Man show, you're going to get some information. We're not on here yelling and screaming back and forth. I'm going to give you logical information that you can use. So let me go into the next sound clip from my man, Rob Parker.
With Jay-Z, and I think people have to look at it this way. Jay-Z's not the same guy he was when he first came out, or in the late 90s, early 2000s or whatnot. That guy is so far removed from this community. He doesn't need this community anymore, Kelly. So when you talk about why would he do it and risk his reputation within the community, have you ever been to one of his concerts in the last 3 or 4 years?
No black
A lot of people. Yeah, and the black people there. People not paying that for those tickets and stuff like that. And if you think about it, he doesn't even make his money through music for the most part anymore. He doesn't put out that much music anymore. So the community is not really a concern to him. He'll try and fall back on some of the things he's done on his resume and say, well, you guys should go along with me based on these things that I've done. But him, Kanye West, Lil Wayne, these people aren't concerned about the community anymore. That's not what they do. That's not basically what their fan base is about anymore.
Right. Sure. Hey, Vix, you're right. You got Byron Island, who is a real billionaire who owns the Weather Channel. He's a black man. He brought the Weather Channel with his own money, and he's suing Comcast because of their illegal practices. The same company that Bob Johnson sold BET to, Comcast is not a good player. He's suing them. Al Sharpton, okay? And there's another guy who used to be in charge of the Urban League, Mike Morrell, I think is his name. I'm not saying his name right. He's suing them because in the memorandum of understanding, Al Sharpton, along with Mark Morrell, I think is his name. I'm not saying his name right. They were doing some shady stuff, okay? And Byron Allen is a legitimate billionaire. When you are a legitimate billionaire, you come with a blueprint brand. You don't need to beg. You don't need to say, I'll get back to you. You just do what needs to be done. But Lions Den and everybody in the chat room, you heard what that brother said when he called into the radio show that I was listening to. You heard what he was saying, that Jay-Z, when you go to his concerts, there's not even any black people in these concerts anymore. And that's true, because one year I went to an old school rap concert, and I was like a little, when you eat raisin bran, and you eat all the food, and then when you get down to the milk, you got the little raisin in the bottom of the bowl. That's what I looked like at a rap concert. I was like one of a few black people in the crowd. And so Jay-Z is not even making his money off of black people because he's not, like the guy said, he's not even making much music anymore. He's making his money in other areas. And I'm going to play a sound clip to show you how the way Jay-Z's been making his money has hurt black people. You heard me say it. It has hurt black people. So you're coming over here, and I'm going to give you an analysis. And that's why I had to give kudos to Tone Talk and brothers like Jason Black at the Black Channel, because they were putting it down the way it needs to be put down. Lions Den, I'm bringing your thoughts about what you just heard on the soundbite and what I said.
Well, yeah, the thing of it is that I agree with you with that. It's funny you talking about Jay-Z's album Blueprint. Guess where you got that from? And for all them old school hip hop heads like you and me, he got that blueprint from Biz Markie. Isn't that interesting? When Biz Markie was the first person that got the Blueprint album, now Jay-Z's copying him. So Jay-Z's definitely copying every artist you see. Even with words, and then now we called it swagger jacker. In other words, you stole people's words, stole people's rhymes from other artists, and put it on your own album. So really, Jay-Z is basically using that to, like I said, Jay-Z is really he's making money off of black people and taking words out of all other artists and putting it in his own albums. And obviously, that is what Jay-Z is all about. He's just trying to steal stuff from other people.
Well, let me say this: I haven't researched that for myself, Lions Den. So I'm not gonna say what he's doing in that area, that arena, because I haven't found data or seen articles. I've heard that that's what he's done, that he's actually taken lyrics from other people. So I'm not gonna say that you're lying. You probably know something that I don't know. But what I am gonna say is Jay-Z, like anybody, he's trying to make money. He came up hard. Remember, this is a guy that was a drug dealer. He sold drugs to black people in these poor communities, these poor black communities in New York. So this is according to his resume. He sold drugs. All right. And you know what drugs are? Drugs are a devastating impact on black people. Once again, thank you for the super chat. Thank you for the super chat, Carl's Opinion.
Thank you for the super chat.
And it's devastating to the community. And so the question is, okay, he's made good now. He's made his money. He's became a big time rapper. Now he's a mobile and all, rap mobile as they call it. He's producing people. He's got his hands in Uber. He's got his hands in cheap liquor that he sold us. He's done all these things. The question is, I'm gonna ask this question to everybody: how can we forgive a guy who does this, who has done this to the community, and say he's a square guy now? Because it seems to me that the kids who grow up and they do the right thing, they go to school, they get education, they get a trade skill, they become entrepreneurs. Those kind of guys who didn't have a criminal background, they don't get celebrated as much as the guys who have criminal backgrounds and then they turn into a big time rich or a mobile guy. Those guys seem to be more celebrated in some of our communities. I'm not going to say all, but some. We got B1 Salute. We got the Queen Maya. And I had a chance to listen to this sister's show one night. I got mad respect for you. Mad respect for you, sister. So thank you for being here. I got mad respect for you. I got to get you on this platform and interview you on this platform. So anyway, side note, because I had to give her respect, Lions Den. Why is it that we do that? To go into one of our last soundbite clips tonight from my man Tone Talks. Why is it that we're still willing to forgive Jay-Z for his past transgressions because he became a rapper, made something of himself from the days that he was selling drugs? Why do we give him a pass for that? And then celebrate him, and we don't celebrate the young man or young lady who does things, quote unquote, the right way, whatever the hell that is these days. But what are your thoughts on that, brother, before we get into other areas of the show?
Yeah, I think that what is happening is the culture, the hip hop culture has really changed so much.
Thank you for the
with Jay-Z, he was right when his neighborhood was Marcy, Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was a major drug dealer at that time. That's right before he became the rap star. He was one of the major drug dealers in Marcy, Brooklyn, before he hooked up with Big Jazz, aka Jazzo now. And the thing of it is that when he did this little rap thing, and then now he became popular, doing his own thing with Dame Dash and Rockefeller, he was basically blowing up, and the fans forgive Jay-Z on a lot of stuff because guess what? They're still fans at the end of the day. They still love this man. They still adore this man because he electrifying crowds like no other, right? And that's how he be making millions and now billions, because he's just electrifying crowds. And now, like you said, it's now the white fans are coming out for Jay-Z. It's white fans are coming out for Beyonce, his wife. And he's basically electrifying crowds. So that's why he's basically forgivable for people, because guess what? He knows how make you entertainment. He's an entertainer. That's what he does. He entertains folks. So when you look at it, this is what Jay-Z does, is entertain people. And the more you entertain people, the more you buy albums, the more you go out concerts, sell out concerts, and they believe the hype about what Jay-Z is doing when it comes to, selling albums, getting concert, selling out concerts. So he's good at of what. That's mainly the reason why fans love him so much.
Well, Lions Den, that's true. People love him. Now, let me just say this. This is a disclaimer for tonight. I know there's some people that would say, why are you wasting your time talking about a rapper or a celebrity? There's other things that are more important than focusing on a Jay-Z. And I would agree there's a lot of things that we need to focus on. But the reason why I'm making this a focal point of my channel tonight in this issue is because of the way that this whole thing was laid out. They always throw money at our people. They always bring some. Jay-Z to me is like the preacher. He's like the jackleg preacher that comes in.
Jackleg preachers.
And when you have a crowd, or you have black people or people who are rallying, who are uniting against a system, they always bring out that jackleg preacher, or that older black man to come out and say, now y'all don't do that. Y'all don't make trouble for master. Y'all just work with him and be good. Go home. Just the way Andrew Young did in Atlanta, Georgia, when those young youth were standing up, and he came out there. They send him out there to calm the masses down. Well, Jay-Z is like that jackleg preacher. Okay, he's like that jackleg preacher who comes out of nowhere with his bag of money and say, I'm Jay-Z, gonna make everything better. And I'm just simply saying, we can't be bamboozled by this, folks, at all. So now, as we go into the other part of the program tonight, I must play the soundbite of them all that will put it all in perspective. For those of you out there that are saying you hating on Jay-Z, you wrong, Information Man, for this broadcast tonight. Come on, man, stop bringing a brother down. Look, I'm not in the business of trying to throw other black men or black women under the bus, but I am in the business of exposing when we have someone in our community. Well, hell, he's not even our community. Let's be honest. When we say community, he's living, in a different stratosphere, right? But when we have someone who look like us, who's now acting like he's talking for us, but he's doing things that are impacting us, then I am going to speak out and say, you may not be able to trust this one right here. As Jason Black would say, you can't trust this one. As he said on his show, that what's happening is you got an old man portraying a young man, right? And Jay-Z got them old men eyes, and he's looking like he ain't got no fight in him no more, as Jason Black would say, right? That's what he said on his program. So let me play this from Tone Talks to put it in perspective as to why Jay-Z has impacted black people when it comes to making his billions, quote unquote. And everybody in the chat room, if you can hear the audio, hit 1 and yes when I hit the button so I can play this back if it's not working. I hope it's working for you all. And here we go.
Information is power.
Yes, it is power. Yes, it is.
Not even as a rapper, just him. Let's go through it, Yvette. Let's talk about it as black folk. What is Jay-Z's resume and how does it tie into exploitation? He went from rapping about crack. Okay, everybody was okay with that. Then you got the Ace of Spades. He's selling us cheap grapes at expensive prices and gouging us because of our aspiration.
I got to stop it right there. That's very important. He said that he sold us the cheap grapes, that brand, that liquor. And that's another thing I want to put in everybody's mind tonight. Why is it that every time these entertainers make money, these black entertainers, they're always selling us liquor, cigarettes, fried chicken, greasy foods, and fast foods? Even MC Hammer back in the day was doing promotions for Taco Bell. Why is it that the black entertainers always get the liquor? I'm going to say it again. The liquor, the fast food, cigarettes and cigars, all the poisons that's killing us. Why are they always promoting that and then promoting it towards us? Telling us, go to McDonald's and get your 2 burgers for $5, 2 for $5, mix and match. I mean, come on, man. Back to the audio, folks.
And we want to hold that bottle just like him and Puff Daddy. He moved over from that to tell us that Tidal was about black folks. Then you look at the picture of Tidal and the employees, and it's a bunch of white folks. Everybody said, well, that's just the staff that was already there. Fire them all and go get Nipsey people, the ones that have been training and everything. Fire them all and go get all the Howard grads that can't find no job. If you about black folks.
What's going on, patience?
Then we look over at the anklets for the probationers. He done got invested in that and is trying to sell it to us as some empowerment. Ain't no empowerment in selling anklets. You look over at...
I'm stopping it right there. Tone Talks. And I'm going to say blessings to Tone Talks. And even if those of you in the chat room don't agree with the ADOS movement and what Tone Talks and Yvette Carlette talk about, you cannot deny that what he's saying in this audio that I'm playing is not on point. He says he's selling anklets, right? Anklets are used for people on probation. And I'm going to tell you right now, because of my experience, there's a lot of black men out there that are on those programs, those systems where they got to have an anklet on their arms because they come out of jail, what have you. Well, Jay-Z is investing in that. He's investing in that. Businessman. That's a businessman.
Uber. Look, I know some of y'all got to do that tonight, but I got to tell you the truth. Uber is a payday loan against the value of your car.
He said, this is important. Tone Talk says right there that Uber is a payday loan against the value of your car. Uber is a payday loan against the value of your car. Obama was pushing this stuff along with Jay-Z. And we know Obama didn't do as much as we would have liked him to do for black people. On with the audio.
You are liquidating your car as you drive it, and the processing fee is the drive. They're not paying you for the drive. They're paying you to liquidate your car. It's a payday loan. When Jay-Z was given that investment, it was closed out. You had to know somebody to invest in Uber at that level. They gave it to him to validate it to us. When Beyonce was paid for a concert with what came out to be $300 million in Uber stock, they gave it to her to quiet you down and make you liquidate your car. Understand that Jay-Z, 10% of his wealth comes from this exploitation. The Brooklyn Nets and the gentrification. They came up with the Jay-Z rule that you can't own no small, less than 1%, run around here like you an owner. Let's talk about it. Then you have the whole thing was supposed to bring jobs. And now, look, they done told us that we know Russians. Jay-Z done did business with Russians. Why he ain't got to hear about bots and where this come from? I mean, you done did a whole business deal with a Russian. Ain't nobody asked, well, what's your influence? How are you influenced? Where's this whole push coming from to undermine black folks and reparate?
The Information Man podcast can be heard on 9 major platforms. On the second YouTube channel as well, Information Man Speaks Podcast. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Castbox, SoundCloud, and finally, Spreaker.
Okay, everybody, we're back. Little intermission there, but wow, I want to know what everybody's thinking. Let me say what's up to we got somebody new in the chat room I haven't seen before. Likewise Media, welcome to the Information Man show with my man Lions Den. Me and Lions Den have been together for a long time. We go back to our US talk radio days where we were fixtures and calling in, giving our opinions, and we got to know some of the radio hosts there and come on in their platforms. And I have been blessed, and as well as Lions Den, to know one of the greatest radio producers in the game, and that's Lee Michaels. And we got to get Lee Michaels on this program at some point in time. And then I think my man Lions Den, at one point in time, he had a blog talk radio channel, and Lions Den has his own channel. Let everybody know your channel and give me your thoughts on what you just heard in the sound bite by One Tone Talk.
Wow. Let me start out with my my channel. You guys check me out. It's Lions Den #ADOS. That's Lions Den #ADOS. And as far as Antonio Moore, aka Tone Talks, is concerned, this brother is heavy. He always speaks the truth. And Jay-Z, to me, and this is what I'm saying, that he's making deals with Russia, and that's what I was like, well, huh? and this is the first time I ever heard about that. And again, Jay-Z, and when you talk about how Uber, when Jay-Z's Uber gave Jay-Z their business, it's like, wait, so in other words, Jay-Z's trying to make money, but by any means necessary. And that's including Uber. That's making deals with Russia, and then now you start making artists when he was with Rockefeller. So he's really making money by using them. In other words, so
right.
That's why I said that you cannot. Black people need to understand we can't just depend on. I know people love celebrities, but celebrities is not. I mean, we're fans of them, but at the same time, they don't help us out. They making money on their own platform or their own thing. So we can't just say, oh, there's Beyonce, there's Jay-Z, but yet they don't care about us. So why should we care about them? That's what I say.
Well, let me just say this. I know that some folks, I saw the sister Queen Maya. She said that she thinks that Tone Talks is using Jay-Z as a buffer because of because of his own issues. And you can see it right here. I think Tone Talks is basically using Jay-Z as a buffer to excuse his ADOS mess. This is a sister who's she believes in Pan-African philosophies, if I'm not mistaken. And look, I go way back with Pan-Africanism, Sister Queen Maya. I'm 49 years old. I was into Pan-Africanism when people weren't getting into it where I lived at, right? And we know that Pan-Africanism has been around since what, 56? It goes way back. And believe me, I believe that we do need to have a connection with our brothers and sisters in the whole diaspora of the world. But I do believe that Black people in America who were born here, who have lineage to this soil and what has happened to us, and I'm sure you don't disagree with me, we are owed something, and we do have to demand what we owe, because Black folks in Great Britain and in England are fighting against Great Britain. The brothers and sisters in Jamaica and the Caribbean are fighting against Great Britain. Everybody's doing what they got to do where they are. The brothers and sisters in the continent of Africa, like South Africa, they're fighting to get their land back from Europeans that took it from them, right? Native Americans, of course, in America, hell, even Obama gave them some money. They've gotten money over the years, casinos and various monies and things that are set aside to them. People of the Jewish faith have gotten money given to them for their Holocaust. With Black people, what do we get? What do we get? Let's hear the bell. Let's hear the bell. Black people in America, we get zero, nothing, nooch, uno, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. So we ain't getting nothing. We got to try to fight for something. We got to try to fight because everybody else that's getting something, they're also fighting. So that's my take on that area that I want to put on the docket. Hey, what's going on, Adventures? Good to have you here. Hello. She said, hello, handsome information man. Hey, welcome here. She has a great channel. She does makeup, all this different stuff. Great channel. Check her out. I appreciate everybody in the chat room that's here. Queen Maya, she says this, I agree with you, my brother. I say the same thing. I am for reparations. I cleared up the anti-Black racist mass of AD. Okay. I get where you're coming from. And it is what it is, but we still got to fight for what is important for us to get with a fight. So, Lions Den, as you heard me go off into a whole nother subject, what are your thoughts? Did you give me your thoughts about what Tone Talk said in terms of the Uber, how Jay-Z made his money, and the way he made his money has been to a detriment of Black people? Anybody that thinks that you are a business person because you're riding an Uber, you're foolish. You're using your own car. You're breaking your car down. I had a friend who was an Uber driver. He had to stop doing it because it wasn't worth it. The money that he was making versus the wear and tear on the car, it wasn't worth it. And let me be honest with you folks out there. You're calling yourself an Uber driver. I'm sorry. I don't want to break anybody's feelings. You're nothing but a glorified taxi car driver. Only difference between you and a taxi car driver is they don't use their own car. You using your own car. So with that said, who do you think is actually smart? The taxi car driver who's not using his own car? Now, he might be paying a little money on that car, but he's not using his own vehicle that he's going to need in his personal life. Who's smart and who's kind of dumb? Lions, and I had to say that. What are your thoughts before I go into the next area of our program tonight before we conclude? Because this is a next part that we got to talk about. What are your thoughts, brother?
And I think that, Tone Talks, Antonio Moore is basically just telling like it is as usual. He just basically saying that, Jay-Z just giving the car keys. In other words, he just giving, Uber and other areas. He just making, I told you before, he's just making money. Okay. He's basically, every time you give him billions of dollars, he'll take everything. He'll jump off the bridge if you bringing billions of dollars in his face. So, right. So my point is that we as Black people need to understand. Yes, Jay-Z's an entertainer. We all know he like to entertain folks, and he's trying to be a businessman, which to me, I feel like it's like saying info that when you see money on the table and you want to get that money, but you won't try to rob it, and you try to steal the money, and even though this money is not yours. This is what Jay-Z is doing. Jay-Z is trying to steal off people's stuff. When it comes to Uber, when it comes to Rockefeller, when it comes to all this stuff, Jay-Z stolen from people, and using us to do it. So it's hard for people to understand. Yes, he's an entertainer. Yes, he's the richest man. And Beyonce, she's the queen bee, quote unquote.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, basically, Jay-Z's in my opinion, he's a thief. He's stealing stuff from everybody else that makes it and using it for his own benefit.
Lions, then let me ask you, because you've been saying that's been part of your theme tonight. When you say he's been stealing stuff, is this documented? Is this if one was to go look this up tonight? Because what I'm saying is that if we don't know if this is documented, then it's alleged that maybe he's doing this, right? Like I said, I've never really focused that much on Jay-Z's in terms of whether he's stealing people's lyrics. I think in the rap game, a lot of these guys and ladies are picking a little bit from here and there. I mean, back in my day, because I'm a Generation Xer, we used to call it biting. You're biting off of me, right? You're biting, right? But if that's true, man, that's terrible. But I want to keep the focus on him taking lyrics that speaks to his character, but I really want to get the focus back on basically what Tone Talks was talking about. Now we got Brother Aduvian saying that Tone Talks and the Vet think that they're better than black people without degrees. Could be the truth. I do think that they are very proud of their educational background. They do tout it. That's true. I think Tone Talks is a lawyer. But whether you got a college degree or not doesn't really make you better than anybody who doesn't, because at the end of the day, you can read books. Hell, you can actually take the what do you call it? What's the name of that? The boards to become a lawyer. It's the best I can say right now, without even going to law school. Because I think Kim Kardashian, I hate to say her name, I think she's trying to do something like that. So it's about knowledge, your ability to retain knowledge and information. There's a lot of smart people out here in the world who read books, who study, who research, who don't necessarily have a college degree, that are doing great things. Lions, then the reason why I mute you, brother, because a lot of that popping sound I notice is coming from your end. So when I'm talking, that's the reason why I mute you, because of the popping sound. When you're talking, the popping sound is not as bad because you're talking over it, but there's some sort of popping sound. I think it's coming from your phone. Just want to let you know that if you're wondering why I keep muting you when I talk. Okay, brother?
Okay, understand.
Right. I just want you to know that. Let me go ahead and get into another area tonight. Let me see what people are writing here. Okay, Brother Duvian, nice. We got Tone and Yvette are agents. Oh my goodness. And then we got Brother Conscious of Genocide. My brother. Hey, Conscious of Genocide, brother. You've been following me for a while, brother, but you don't come around that much. What's going on with you, brother? You still making them tight beats? This brother make beats, man. This brother do some. Oh, we got J-Man here. This is just in. It's been reported that Jay-Z just brought YouTube. Okay. You're trying to be funny tonight, J-Man. Very funny. And I want to say to Miss Mohawk, I understand that black people in America, we are the original people. We were here. There's all types of different debates about who are the true native people. Check this out. I'm gonna lay this one on y'all. If black people are no more than dark matter, let me get into my my science here. If black people are no more than dark matter, meaning we come from the God realm, and when we die, we leave the physical body and we break out of the third dimension. I hope y'all checked out my alchemy video that I did. and we break out of the third dimension into the fourth, into the fifth dimension going into the God realm, and we go back to the dark matter which we come from. And that the dark matter itself, black holes, all of that has melanin in it, which black people are made of. The darker you are, the more pigmentation you have, the more melanin you have. The blacker you are, the more melanin you have. Melanin is in your eyes, your ears, your hair. If you have black hair, your sensitive parts of your area, your nipples, your personal areas of your body, all those areas are loaded with melanin, the darker parts of your body. If that's where we come from on that celestial level, and that's what created the universe and the planet that we're on, the solar systems, God-given. God-given. And if you're going to say that the black man, the black woman are the original people of the land, and then Africa is the only continent in the world that stays centered to the earth. No other continent does. And it's the biggest continent on the earth in which all life came out of. If you believe in things like a panacea, like all the different continents were all stuck together as one, as a panacea in which people were able to walk out of Africa and evolve into the climates that they live in and adjust to it. And that if all people come from our genetics, from us, the black man, because you can't get color from white. Color comes out of black. All color comes out of blackness. See, people got to realize that. If that is true, then it makes no sense to just say that we come from America and try to discount Africa. No, that means only one thing: that black people come from the whole universe. If we were created by the universe, God-given, then the whole planet belongs to us. You will find black people and our bones everywhere in this world. You'll find us in China, what we call Japan, South America, North America. They find black people everywhere in the world when they start digging. Even in Israel, what we call Israel today, they found bones of black people that predates way back when. We know that black men and women were traveling from Africa over to this world. When you read Ivan van Sertima's, they came before Columbus, 800 BC. So I don't need to say we original to North America. No, man, we original to the whole planet. We are the planet. Now,
information is power.
Now I'm off my soapbox, Lions Den. Let's get back to where we are in the program. And this is very important. Let me go right here and let y'all see this. This is an article. I'm going to get to the chat room, but this is an article right here that I need you all to look at very closely. Okay, everybody, I'm going to go back over here with my man Lions Den. I'm going to box this up down. Now, Lions Den is still on the screen. I'm still on the screen too. Now, what this is football wars on the minds of black men. This is the reason why, in a nutshell, why what Jay-Z is doing is a detriment to us. He's pushing football on us. He's giving us entertainment. He's saying he's going to be an owner. Jay-Z wants to be an owner of what I would call sophisticated slavery, or paid slaves on a plantation. The NFL is like a plantation, right? You got a football field. Well, black people were on a field, right? You got owners who sat in a luxury box saying, look at my black guys down there. Look at my ends down there. Look at my ninjas. Look at my ninjas down there, right? Remember in the movie, what's that? Candyland, that movie with what's that movie? What was that movie? Django Unchained. And there was a scene where you had the black men, the Mandingo warriors, as they call them, the Mandingo fighting each other, fighting. And you heard the white men in that movie saying, get him, ninjas, get him, come on. Then he gave the one that won, he gave him a beer. And he said, "Thank you, master." Right? Well, football is the same thing. They're sitting in the luxury boxes. They're watching black men on the field punching. I mean, not punching literally, but hitting each other. Bam! Breaking each other's bones, destroying each other's brains for the price of a mission, for the price of the money, for the fame, the glory. And guess who makes the majority of the money? The owners. If they can afford to give Draymond Green of the Warriors got a $100 million contract. If he could get a $100 million contract from the Warriors, what do you think the owner of the team is making? Okay? So sports ain't nothing but a sophisticated form of plantation fighting, of Mandingo games. Okay? And these rich owners of the Caucasian persuasion are making money off of these black men beating themselves to death out there on that football field. And then they put the coaches up on their shoulder. And when these guys retire from football, they're getting schizophrenia. They got these concussions they're hurting their brain. They're killing themselves, committing suicide. Junior Seau, he killed himself. Football did that to him. The glory of the game. Says here. Let me get back to this. Says here, football wars on the minds of black men. 70% of NFL players are black men. We need to start talking about the racial implications and the disaster and effects of black on the brain injuries, okay? African-American males are only 6% of the United States population, but comprise nearly 70% of the players in the National Football League. When we focus on the sport, high collision positions, the number of African-American men playing in the percentage of raised substantial, nearly 30% of white NFL players are kickers, punters, and quarterbacks. All other positions that have a much lower chance of being involved in concussions. Now, we know that if you play quarterback, you can get a concussion. Okay, so I kind of disagree with that part because you can get a concussion. With nearly 1,200 of the NFL's 1,700 players being black, football concussion problems is also clearly a racial problem. Now, for decades, young black men have led themselves on the line for a game which has given most of them very little back in exchange. They have risked their bodies and their minds to make millions for universities. We should stop sending our kids to these universities. Send them to HBCs, send them to other schools. Stop letting these colleges make money off of our kids for football because you think they're going to get a NFL contract. They have risked their bodies and minds to make millions for the universities, and were compared to scholarships and the slim chances of an NFL contract. So how and why have black families, been tricked into sending so many young boys or young black males off to play this dangerous game, Black Lives Matter, and on the field as well as the streets? On television screens, the collisions and bodies in the football game appear to be almost beautiful. On the field, it's necessary and unbeautiful. It's terrible. The NFL violence is brutal and raw, and it has consequences to while we may view players as superhuman, the pain they feel is real and are the cost of all those hits. The NFL players risk short-term injury and long-term brain damage every time they suit up for a practice or a game. We know this by now. By now, everybody. So basically, what I'm trying to say, my God, this is crazy, man. You see right there, that collision. So Lions Den, there it is, man. What are your thoughts about what I just went over? This is why we should stop sending our kids. Now, I know that you are a football fan. I've been a football fan. I followed the 49ers. What are your thoughts? I know we like the game of football. I played basketball growing up. We do like America is a violent society, a violent country. We have this country has a history of violence. You have the gladiator games that came out of the Roman and Greek societies. Violence it's synonymous with America, right? We like whippings and all this kind of stuff. Lions Den, as it relates to football, in the article that I just went over, I read over a little bit of it, and you had a chance to look at it. What are your thoughts?
Well, there's a disease that football players or retired football players have. It's called CTE, and it has to deal with when your brain injuries, when you have a tackle hitting the helmet, and later on your brain, you're gonna be having so much headache that's because of CTE, and people can die from stuff like that. It's this movie that I saw, I think about a month ago. Will Smith played this African doctor who basically tells that he discovered CTE, and that most NFL owners try to refuse to even talk about it. And then he basically saying that CTE is real, that people football or retired football veterans have that disease, that like you talk about the Junior Seau thing, that he committed suicide. Other athletes also committed suicide because of that disease, the CTE. So this is really for real, that this disease is killing former players, and sometimes owners haven't take this disease very seriously, and this doctor it put up the forefront. And again, like I said, we got to really need to focus on this. The players and the former players have to really think that this disease is really, really important for people to understand that people could die for this disease. It hurts the brain. It causes brain injuries with the CTE. So, Info, your thoughts?
My thoughts is you said it all, brother. And let me say shout out to Brother Aduvian again, brother, my man Gab Talk Media, and Gab, Brother Gab, I gotta get you on here one-to-one and talk to you about a lot of different issues. And Gab, what I need to really do, brother Gab, is I need to really connect with you so we can get some podcasting going. Man, I think we need to do something, brother, powerful like that in Lions Den. We need to get back into that as well, because I got the podcasting going on, but I need to really start bringing more guests into that podcast on those other platforms that I'm on. And then Queen Maya is bringing some big science tonight. And let me just say to Miss Mohawk, no disrespect to you and where your family originally is from and your truth. I will do the research. I was just simply saying that we're from the melanated people, dark mattered people, as I call it. We're from the universe. The whole planet belongs to us. We're original. Everywhere you dig in this world, you're gonna find black bones. You're gonna find those black bones, no matter where you are in the world. And that's just the facts. It's facts. And I agree with what you're saying. Lions Den, like I said, you put it down, brother. This is what I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to say. This is about solutions. One of my solutions is that I think that young black males and young black ladies are our future. We get on YouTube and we talk about a lot of the problems, but the problems will not change if we do not, as individuals, invest ourselves in the time of building our communities. Now, that means that you may have to get involved with an organization that's doing the work. If you're not able or want to do the physical work of working with our youth, then support an organization that is helping our youth. Because as long as we have young men who don't have a male role model or a male in their life, then these young men are going to grow up and continue to possibly get into the wrong types of areas. And our young ladies, we need to get our young ladies and our young men into STEM, the science. Black people, we need to prepare ourselves for the future, and we need to look at organizations out there that are doing that type of work with our youth. If you're a man out there and you have the time to do mentorship, Your first responsibility is to your own family first, right? But if you have the time to work with young men, do this, because we're sending our young men to play sports like football. And if concussions is a big problem in the NFL, who do you think are getting the majority of these concussions? Black men. And we're already struggling with our health problems as Black men. And I'm going to do a video on this. We need to really get on top of our health and our exercise and on all these different fronts. We are impacted by this. So I think that's the solution. You've got to get involved. You, the person that you look at in the mirror, to find out what organizations in your community, or if you can get involved in doing something in some aspect. Those of you that are in the church, if you're Muslim and you're about that faith, whatever you are about, do what you can to be a positive influence on the life of our youth. This is the deal that bothers me. When you look at other groups of people, and I hate to do these comparisons, but in particular white people, they raise their kids to be lawyers, doctors, and to be the owners of the team, to be captains of industry, right? Where we're raising our kids, not all Black people, I'm talking about Black people who have children who have athletic gifts. We're pushing our kids towards playing football and basketball to make the quick money, the quick bucks, right? The quick contract. But we're not consistently training our kids. We should be training our kids to be the owner of the team, to be the businessman, to be the executive, to be the entrepreneur. Too many of our kids are running up and down football fields and basketball courts with this hoop dreams. Y'all all saw the movie and documentary Hoop Dreams. You saw how that turned out for both of those young men. They did go to college, but there were some struggles. So we got kids with hoop dreams in our community. We got kids in our community with these football dreams. And yes, there are some of our kids that are going to make it to the pros, but we got to be realistic. We should put the same time that we put into putting our kids on the sport and play field. We should put that same time into their education and not only them going to school to be trained to get a job, but get them in a situation where they can get some mentorship towards being an entrepreneur. I've been involved in programs like this where you bring in brothers that are doing stuff tangible, and we watch these kids develop from high school, junior high school into college, trade skills, and we watch them. And then brothers who have businesses hire these young men as they graduate out of school or trade schools. We put them in the right direction and we give them possibilities. That is a solution. Setting up on YouTube, arguing and bickering and talking about Black people in a negative way in terms of what we can't accomplish. There's nothing wrong. Now, you may say, well, wait a minute, Info Man, you've been talking about Jay-Z. I'm talking about Jay-Z because Jay-Z has been doing this that has impacted Black people. Shall I play the soundbite again?
I am down in Jay-Z. Specifically, not even as a rapper, just him. Let's go through it, Yvette. Let's talk about it as Black folk. What is Jay-Z's resume and how does it tie into exploitation? He went from rapping about crack. Okay, everybody was okay with that. Then you got the Ace of Spades. He's selling us cheap grapes at expensive prices and gouging us because of our aspiration, and we want to hold that bottle just like him and Puff Daddy. He moved over from that to telling us that Tidal was about Black folks. Then you look at the picture of Tidal and the employees, and it's a bunch of white folks. Everybody said, well, that's just the staff that was already there. Fire them all and go get Nipsey people. The ones that have been training and everything. Fire them all and go get all the Howard grads that can't find no job. If you about Black folks. Then we look over at the anklets for the probationers. He done got invested in that and is trying to sell it to us as some empowerment. Ain't no empowerment in selling anklets. You look over at Uber. Look, I know some of y'all got to do that tonight, but I got to tell you the truth. Uber is a payday loan against the value of your car. You are liquidating your car as you drive it, and the processing fee is the drive. They're not paying you for the drive. They're paying you to liquidate your car. It's a payday loan. When Jay-Z was given that investment, it was closed out. You had to know somebody to invest in Uber at that level. They gave it to him to validate it to us. When Beyonce was paid for a concert, with what came out to be $300 million in Uber stock. They gave it to her to quiet you down and make you liquidate your car. Understand that Jay-Z, 10% of his wealth comes from this exploitation. The Brooklyn Nets and the gentrification, they came up with the Jay-Z rule that you can't own no small, less than 1% and run around here like you an owner. Let's talk about it. Then you have the whole thing was supposed to bring jobs. And now, look, they done told us that we know Russians. Jay-Z done did business with Russia. Why he ain't got to hear about bots and where this come from? I mean, you.
Information is power. Now, let's get back to the Information Man show.
Okay. Let me just say this. Let me wax my mouth the way I said things. We're coming to the conclusion for tonight. I want to thank everybody that's been hanging in there. Let me say to my man Conscious Genocide and Brother Duvian, thank you for your statement. I'm just letting everybody know right now, and I'm going to be doing a live stream about this. I got documents that I received today in a channel that I follow. And Pulse Studios, shout out to you all. And the document shows the things that YouTube is not telling us in terms of key words and phrases that can affect your channel and put your channel into a shadow ban or whatever they call that. Certain words, certain things that you put on your thumbnail can really affect you. And you would ask yourself, well, why don't YouTube just put it all out there like that? It's an AI system that they've come up with to protect themselves because they've been getting sued all over about a lot of different stuff. And so your channel can get shadow banned and they can't do anything to fix it for you because the AI just takes it right over. And you're going to be surprised by the type. You know what the problem is? If I really think about this, I probably can't really do a show about it because in order for you to know what it is, I would have to say the words. And by saying the words, I put my channel in jeopardy. So I'm going to have to figure out a way I can send this document out to as many people in YouTube who needs to look at the document to understand how your channel can be impacted by words and phrases and the things you put on your thumbnails and what have you. It's real, folks. It's real. YouTube is a corporate system and they're thinking about their bottom line and not ours at all. And when you speak truth and you say certain things, it has an impact. But nothing that I've said tonight on this program has had an impact in terms because I'm not using those buzzwords that could impact your channel that I've read a little bit about. And so I'm going to have to probably just figure out a way to get that information to people. I can't do a show about it and say the word. That's the problem because it's gonna affect the channel and anybody's channel too. So Lions Den tonight, brother, you got any last words or thoughts? Oh, and let me say this too before we for those of you out there that say that Kaepernick wasn't a good quarterback, that's why he didn't get a job. There were a bunch of quarterbacks in the NFL that let me see. Let me show you guys something. Let me share that with you all right there. So you see right here, all the quarterbacks who signed since Colin Kaepernick became a free agent. There are quarterbacks on here. I'm gonna let you guys see this list. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna enlarge my screen. Hang on, Lions, and I'm gonna be right with you. I gotta mute you because that sound is really having an effect. Let me show this on the whole screen. I'm going to scroll down here and let you guys see some of these quarterbacks that went before Kaepernick who got signed to teams. The Kaepernick was better than, he was just as good. You got Kelly Clemens. Kaepernick was better than him. Josh McCown, who played with Arizona. That guy was garbage. E.J. Manuel, who signed with the Raiders, never panned out with the what do you call that? The Buffalo Bills, right? Aaron Murray signed a contract with the Los Angeles Rams. He didn't do anything. Colin Kaepernick was better than some of these backups. You guys all know Mark Sanchez, who played for USC. You know he was drafted #1. He was terrible with the Jets, and he bounced around the NFL, and he had a damn job with even the Dallas Cowboys. Don't tell me that Kaepernick's not better than him. See, for all you naysayers out there talking about, well, Kaepernick wasn't a good quarterback, y'all don't even know this. For those of y'all who don't live in San Francisco in the Bay Area like I did, there were other reasons why Kaepernick didn't have a good season, a couple of good seasons. First of all, his offensive line was destroyed. You have to have the offensive line is the heart of a football team. The 49ers were breaking the team up. They affected the offensive line that he needed. Key personnel were let go in free agency. Then you had internal problems within management. They got rid of his coach, and Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh, Cap trusted in him, and they ran an offense which was a ball control offense where they ran the ball more than they passed the ball, right? And they had a great defense. When the defense started to break down, the offensive line broke down. Certain personnel as far as receivers left, and they start making Cap throw the ball more, which Cap is not a quarterback that can throw the ball 1,000 times a game. He's a quarterback where you throw the ball when necessary with ball control offense, which is why Cap had success when he first came in the league. He started not having success when they start making him do what he could not do. They took away the scheme that he had and the offensive line that he had, which is the heartbeat of a football team. And then y'all going around talking about he ain't a good quarterback. He got the 49ers to a heartbeat of a championship. Okay, and don't tell me he's not better than some of these guys. Let's go into Garrett Gilbert. He's better than him. Mark Sanchez. You had David. What's this guy? What's this guy? T.J. Yates. T.J. Yates did not pan out with the Houston Texans. Don't tell me he's not better than T.J. Yates. Some of these guys are still in the lead right now. It's crazy. Trevor Knight. What has he done in the NFL? Phillips Walker, who signed with Indianapolis. Zach Terrell, who signed with Baltimore. Remember, he was going to sign. There was rumors that he was going to sign with Baltimore at one point in time. Colin Kaepernick. This guy, Zach Terrell, hadn't done anything. Tyson Hill, who signed with Green Bay. What has he done in the league? These are guys that are backups, and some of these guys were starters. Don't tell me that Cap wasn't better than some of these starters. Skylar Howard signed with Seahawks. That's another team that there was rumored that he would sign with. What's going on, Carl's opinion? Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that.
Thank you for the super chat.
Okay. Eli Jenkins of Los Angeles Chargers. He didn't do anything. Matt Simmons for Atlanta Falcons. What has he done? And then we got Ron Fitzpatrick, who has jumped around from team to team. I think he played for the Buffalo Bills. Then he played with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Then he played with the Jets. The guy is terrible, but he keeps getting signed to teams and getting jobs, and Cap couldn't get signed. So don't tell me that the NFL booted him out because he couldn't play. No, they booted him out because his protest was hurting their bottom line. His protest was hurting the status quo. And Jay-Z has been picked to get us back to the status quo and put us to sleep, bamboozle us, hoodwink us, hocus pocus and docus. Austin Davis, Zach Davis Evans. Look at all these dudes that were on football rosters. Guys you ain't never heard of, but they on a football roster. And for those of you out there saying, well, wait a minute, Info Man, you saying that our kids shouldn't play football. I still agree with that. I'm simply just showing you guys that this whole notion that Cap is out of the lead because he just couldn't hack it as a player is not true. You guys call it he was blackballed. How could Cap be blackballed? He was whiteballed because black people don't own the NFL. We don't control it. So those that were in power, which were not black people, are the ones that kicked Cap out of the lead. And these owners came together, which is why Cap won his lawsuit, which I wish he would have shown the papers so people could see exactly what they did to him. Because if there was no collusion to keep Cap out of the lead, why did he win his lawsuit? Why did a legal court system show and that the NFL did this? And as a result, they had to give him back money because he was an employee. Just like if you work for the state or you work for the federal government and you were wrongfully laid off of your job, wrongfully fired of your job, and you were able to prove that they did you wrong, you would get paid back pay and you would be rewarded something. Lions Den include now. What are your thoughts on the things that I've just said, brother?
Well, you hit it right in the head, Info. There's a lot of quarterbacks are not as good as Colin Kaepernick. My Philadelphia Eagles, very disappointing what they just did. They signed a quarterback that you just named. But just to me, and guess what? He's just retired from the NFL. Haven't played in 3 years, and they're gonna sign him. And he's telling me he's telling me he's better than Colin Kaepernick. You kidding me? Or like, wow.
Right.
His name is McCown. I think that the first quarterback you named was McCown. They just signed him, and he was retired. So they brought him back, and he's been playing in the league for at least 3 years.
Right.
I was like, come on, man. Come on.
Right. Let me just say this too. Like I said, it makes me laugh when people talk about about Colin Kaepernick that live in other parts of the country. When you are in the Bay Area, like I was living, and we get information that the other parts of the country don't hear. The local sports guys, they knew that there was friction going on within that organization, that they were getting rid of Jim Harbaugh. Kaepernick lost his coach who understood the way how to use Kaepernick. Then they start bringing in other coaches that didn't know what they were doing, and they were using Kaepernick not in the right way. That's why Jim Harbaugh, he left. Then you had the general manager who got fired. The ownership was messing up. The 49ers, it was the management that destroyed that football team. Prior to that, Cap was playing great football. The team was winning. They had great talent on the team, good defense. Everything was on cylinders when they had Jim Harbaugh there. And as soon as management meddled in there, that's when Cap's confidence went down, when he lost his coach and he lost talent around him. Okay? Talent around him. So for those of you out there saying that Cap's not in the league because he can play, you don't know what you're talking about, and you don't have inside information if you're not a person that lived in the Bay Area to see the inner workings of what was going on. I did. I've been a 49er fan since the early 80s. I go back to Joe Montana, and even when O.J. Simpson played for the 49ers, okay? And he went to City College in San Francisco, okay? So don't tell me that it was because he could not play. No, they kicked him out, and that was the deal. I'm just bringing these up to add context to our live stream tonight. Now, with that said, Lions Den, what are your last words, brother, before we end it, as I stroll through the chat room and give everybody respect to what they're saying?
I would want you guys to check me out. It's Lions Den #ADOS. Subscribe. Talking about more than news and commentary. You can follow me on Twitter at The Real Lions Den. You can follow me on Instagram at @the_real_lions_den #2. And you can follow me on Snapchat and Lions Den 39. And my final thoughts is that, just because a person is a celebrity doesn't necessarily mean they love you. Because they don't. They love the almighty dollar. That's all they do. Their job is to perform you, and that's their main goal is to perform. And we all talk about Jay-Z and how shady he is, but this is what he does. He's always he's the performer, he's the entertainer. That's what entertainers do. And that's all I have to say. And info, I'm gone. I'm out. I love you guys. Again, subscribe my channel at Lions Den, hashtag ADOS.
But Lions Den, before you leave, I want to make this announcement because I'm going to be doing a video on this. Right there, you see Black Junction TV. I tried to get into my Black Junction TV, my profile, and I can't get in. Youssef did a video where he talked about he may give Black Junction TV another 4 months because he's not getting support from Black people. He's not getting support from Black people. He's not getting support from Black people. I'm going to let y'all see my face, see my Black face. He's not getting support from Black people. Black people are not supporting Youssef's Black Junction TV. It's a you-know-what shame. Here we complain about not having our stuff for ourselves. The Black man gives you a platform that you don't even have to pay for. Now, I pay the brother because I'm trying to support him, right? But you can have content on there without paying him, right? You can load up content from the YouTube. You can load up your own content on there. Yeah, it doesn't have the bells and whistles like YouTube, but it's a Black-owned thing, man. And nobody is supporting it. And that's why Black Junction TV might be gone now. He said he's going to keep blackjunction.com going, but he said he's going to throw it for another 4 months. And if he doesn't see no support, he's going to get rid of it. But when I went into my profile or tried to go on Black Junction TV, I can't get into it. And it's making me wonder if the brother already had to take it down. And for him to have to take it down, something that didn't really cost us any money unless you were paying him, which I did, to keep it going. If it's gone already, Black people, what's wrong with you? I had to get on my soapbox about that Lions Den because I'm disappointed that it's come to that with the brother in Black Junction TV at this moment. I interviewed that brother some time ago. You remember that Lions Den, don't you? When I interviewed Brother Youssef, I interviewed the brother. That was the thumbnail I used when I interviewed him. He talked about how he would like to get live streaming on Black Junction TV, that it would take a lot of bandwidth. But guess what? He can't do that because we don't support him. Black people, we don't support him, Black people. And because we don't support him, that's why the brother can't get no bandwidth to give us live streaming. The brother told me when I interviewed him, he did not want to take corporate money because if he takes corporate money, he would have to censor you just the way we're censored on YouTube. But because we're not supporting him, he hasn't been able to do live streaming. He hasn't been able to implement it because he doesn't have enough money, probably, and definitely he doesn't have enough money because he's talking about in maybe another 4 months he has to get rid of it if he hasn't already, because I can't get into my platform. And I've tried it on all different things. There's something wrong going. I don't know if he's cleaning it, he's doing maintenance on it, or he's already gotten rid of it. But it speaks to a shame. Shame on us. Shame on us. I say shame on us again. I hate to talk like this. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody in the chat room. I'm coming off disrespectful to anybody. I apologize, but man, if anybody's gonna support Black Junction TV, it has to be Black people because it was made for us. And if you don't like the way Black Junction TV runs and its flaws, it's because we weren't giving him enough support. It takes money. We gotta support it. Black people are the reason why YouTube is where it is today. Black people were the ones on YouTube, putting YouTube where it is before everybody got on YouTube. We were the ones. We're always the first to do everything. Even YouTube. We put YouTube on. I know I'm running my mouth, everybody, but I had to say something. What are y'all thoughts out there? I should have had my call-in line tonight. Captain B2Y. Yep, brother, it's heartbreaking. It is, brother. Facts info, man, by Queen Maya. I think Lions Den is gone for the night. Peace to that, brother, for being here. I hope y'all liked my presentation tonight. Cap PJ, hey, what's going on? This brother 77. Peace to you, brother. Conscious genocide, peace, fam. He's out of here, I think. Celebrating rappers and models. Yeah. We only support the flashy fantasies. Yep. That's a shame. We go through all your statements when it's time to show and prove, and truth don't show up. That's true. We go up here to some more things that people are saying. We got Brother Nubian saying, so I saw his video. He said it's going away if he keeps going in his own pocket. Maybe it's gone, brother, because maybe he's gone into his pocket too much. You got to remember the brother is married, he has a family. I'm pretty sure his wife and his family is saying, look, man, your responsibility is to take care of us. And you're going to go bankrupt, you're going to bankrupt us, putting all your heart into this Black Junction TV. And maybe he decided to pull the plug on it. I have a Black Junction TV channel. That's right. That's great. I appreciate everybody being here tonight. I'm going to end this very, very soon. Facts, Black America are the jokes, all this tangible talk, but can't even make a Black Junction. That's right. Let me just say this. If we can't keep Black platforms like Black Junction TV alive, and like I said, you can put your stuff over there without even paying the man. And you can also, but if you were to pay him $10 a month, if enough Black people on YouTube went over there and just loaded up a channel and paid the guy $10 a month, he could make further improvements to Black Junction TV. We can't even do that, and we talking about how we gonna be revolutionary and we gonna change this and we gonna do that and Black people gonna do this, Black men and Black women gonna do all this. How can we do anything if we can't support Black Junction TV? Now, I'm not saying that there aren't Black people out here doing stuff that's tangible, that are doing things that are unifying, but I'm saying this is sort of a shame in my eyes. I was going to do a video about this, but I guess I don't because I'm doing it right now. I might still do a damn video about this. Let me go up here. We got Carl's opinion talking about running quarterbacks have to learn how to be in the pocket. If they don't, they'll either get hurt or career ends. That's true. Running quarterbacks do have to learn how to be in the pocket. Steve Young was a running quarterback, and look how many chances he got. Then came back on. Are you back on, Lions Den? Are you back on, brother?
Yeah, I'm back. My phone has died. I apologize for that.
Okay. All right. You're still with us. So, yeah, Carl's opinion. Yeah, quarterbacks have to learn to be in the pocket. But guess what? Steve Young was a running quarterback, and they gave him a chance to develop. When it comes to the Black quarterbacks that are runners, they don't give them chances to develop as much as they do the white quarterbacks. You just got to be honest about that. Steve Young was a running quarterback. Hell, let me give you a perfect example. Brett Favre. When you look at Brett Favre's career, he was a running quarterback. He was a runner and gunner. He was running all over the place, all crazy and wild, and they gave him a chance to develop his game in Green Bay. And Brett Favre, wait a minute, you talk about Kaepernick. Brett Favre, I think, is maybe the leading quarterback in interceptions. Remember all them interceptions that Brett Favre was throwing? And they gave him a chance to develop. But they don't do that with the Black quarterback. They throw them to the wind. That's just the truth, man. You do have to be able to play in the pocket. I do agree with that. But they never allow the quote-unquote Black quarterback to fully develop their abilities to do that. They'll get rid of them. While the white quarterbacks that do that, like a Steve Young or a Brett Favre, they'll let them develop and give them a chance to develop into a great quarterback. Now, that's a fact. I know that to be a fact. I've seen that in my years watching football. Brother Duvian, we can't go one season without watching sports. Yeah, that's true, brother. Let me go up. I might have missed some other things in here. We're down in, so I'm going to have to end it. I know people are tired. It's late. It's a Monday night. It's not that late for me because I'm in the West Coast where it's only like, what time is it? Oh, it's 9:23 for me. Not too late still. Peace to everybody here. Thank you. Any last words, Lions Den, before we end it?
Yeah, I'd like to thank each and every one of you guys for tuning in. And like I said, y'all can subscribe me on my YouTube channel. It's Lions Den, #ADOS. And you can follow me on Twitter at The Real Lions Den. You also can follow me on Instagram at _real_lions_den 2. And you can add me on Snapchat, which is LionsDen39. And again, info, we will definitely do this again. We do our podcast together. So I'm going to be out of here, and I'll see you guys soon.
Peace, everybody. Peace to you, Lions Den. Thank you for being here. This is fantastic tonight. I thank everybody for supporting this show. Thank you, Carl's opinion, for agreeing with that. But that it is, I gotta speak truth always, and that's what I'm gonna keep doing always, as much as I possibly can. But thank you, everybody, for being here. It's been great tonight. I appreciate it.
Information is power.
The Information Man podcast can be heard on 9 major platforms, on the second YouTube channel as well, Information Man Speaks Podcast. Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podbean, Castbox, SoundCloud, and finally, Spreaker.
You are listening to Information Man. Please be sure to subscribe to his channel. You are listening to Information Man. Please make sure to subscribe to his channel.
Information Man Show. Information Man Show. I appreciate everybody for being here tonight. Everybody who's new to the channel, you know what to do. Support the channel if you can. And all the regular folks in there, I appreciate you. I still got to get my minds on a panel. I got to get some of y'all on a panel to talk about things. Peace, everybody. Information Man Show. Information Man Show.
Tell the truth.